I will explain to you the best way to earn money in Gran Turismo 7. First of all, I ask you to like this video, subscribe on my channel and please write a nice supporting comment because it is really helpful. I'm working a lot to improve my channel and creating much more better videos to you. The track is Spa-Francorchamps and the race is the 1 hour race where the maximum reward is 1 million, but you can earn a bit more with the clean race bonus. Now select a car. I recommend to select a GR1 car. You can't choose Super Formula because Super Formula has a superpower button and in this race you can't use any overboost. Let's see the settings. I recommend to decrease the car performance to achieve the upper limit. With this you will have a great drivability. The car will be really stable in the corners and fast. The braking system will be much better and almost everything else is much better than you would select a GR3 car. Even the fuel consumption is much more convenient. You will need definitely wet tires and intermediate tires for this race. You will have more pit stop. You will have at least 2 pit stop, but the realistic pit stop number is 3 or 4. Start on hard tires and prepare to have a pit stop when the rain is coming or already it is raining. I'm speeding up this part for now. Later you will see a fast lap and I will explain some basic ideas along the way. When the race starts, focus on driving clean and consistent laps. Avoid collisions, stay within the track limits and try not to collect any penalties. Of course, some contact or minor penalties might happen. That's part of endurance racing. You will quickly notice that your GR1 car has superior handling, acceleration and braking compared to the GR3 cars around you. Take your time, stay patient and overtake them one by one as the race unfolds. Your tire wear will be fine since you are on hard tires and your fuel consumption will also be manageable. Keep the default fuel map and push as fast as you can. If rain starts, make a pit stop and switch to wet tires. If it stays dry, you can stay out longer, and that will give you a huge strategic advantage. Stay calm, drive smart and enjoy the rhythm of Spa. Here you can see a fast lap in dry conditions. I recommend watching it again and paying attention to the braking zones, racing lines and overall flow. Try to drive in a similar way or even better. I'm speeding up these parts as well. You will see that I made a few mistakes, even in dry conditions, but I still managed to overtake many cars and take the lead. Keep checking the weather radar constantly. Rain is coming, the only question is when. Once I realized it was getting close, I decided to pit early and switch to intermediate tires so I could spend most of the rain period on the right compound. Try to avoid using intermediates on the dry track. It's usually better to stay a bit longer on hard tires even if the rain has just started. The track becomes slippery when you are still on dry tires and the weather level reaches the middle stage. You can always monitor the water level on the bottom left of the screen, and of course keep an eye on the weather map. Try to estimate the speed of the rain clouds and plan your pit stop at the best possible moment. It's important to keep in mind that the rain will eventually stop. When it does, you will need to change tires again. Driving on wet or intermediate tires in dry conditions is extremely inefficient and can destroy your pace. You can stay out for a lap or two if needed, but for a longer race, be ready to switch back to hard tires once the track starts drying up. So whenever it's raining, keep checking the weather map and plan ahead in your mind. Conditions can always change. If the rain gets heavier and stays for a while, you might need to switch to full wets. But if it's only a short period of heavy rain, it's usually better to stay on intermediates. In my case, I stayed on intermediates during the rain and switched back to hard tires once I realized the track was drying and we would be racing in dry conditions again. Here I started checking my tires, and once the conditions dropped below the limit for intermediates, you can see it on the bottom left of the screen, I went back to the pits. Keep in mind that the pit entry and exit lanes are usually much wetter than the main racing lines. When you are on intermediate tires, try to adjust your racing lines slightly to find wetter patches of the track. This helps keep your tires from overheating and lets you use them for longer. This technique is especially useful when the conditions are just a bit too wet for dry tires, but not quite wet enough for full wets or intermediates. Usually the racing line dries out much faster, while the areas of the line stay wet for longer. This happens right after the rain stops, when you are back on dry tires and the rain has ended. Try to stay strictly on the racing line. Avoid going offline and especially stay off the curbs, because they remain slippery and can cause you to spin very quickly. Here I realized that although I was on dry hard tires, more rain was coming soon. I tried to estimate whether it would be enough to require intermediates or not. If it had been just a light shower, I could have stayed on dry tires, but I saw it wasn't light, so I decided to switch to intermediates. which in hindsight wasn't the best choice. I noticed the rain would pass quickly, so it might have been better to stay out on the track. I could have increased the traction control to level 5, lowered the fuel consumption, and avoided 2 extra pit stops. Changing to intermediates meant I had to switch back to hards, adding 2 unnecessary stops, something I think I could have avoided. I noticed there were still more than 10 minutes left in the race, and I had a significant advantage over the other cars, so I decided to switch to intermediates here. At the beginning, racing on intermediates in the rain is usually much better, but once the rain stops and the track starts drying, you will notice how quickly intermediate tires wear out. Their consumption is extremely high on a dry track, so be careful when staying out too long on intermediate tires. Here you can see the rapidly increasing wear on the intermediate tires. Although I had a significant advantage, I could have stayed on intermediate tires. In my case, I decided to switch back to dry tires. It wasn't critical because I was already leading the race with a big margin, so winning was easy. I was racing with the hard settings, which I had already configured in the settings panel before the race started. This full video demonstrates just how much of an advantage GR1 cars can give you, even if your strategy isn't perfect, and even if you make small mistakes, you can still win comfortably. That's why I recommend this approach for efficient credits earning. And of course, you get to enjoy one of the most iconic tracks in motorsport, Spa-Francorchamps. Spa is famous for its fast, flowing corners, its dramatic elevation changes, and the legendary Eau Rouge. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more content.